the newest device that Cena has won't do. I mean, that was the first part of his conversation, is what it won't do. And Chris and I have talked about this on many occasions. As many of you know, I've got a 2019 Gold Wing, so I've got Bluetooth capability. But that Cena FreeWire is absolutely essential to some people and their riding style.
Yeah.
And you've got thousands upon thousands of that first and second generation GL 1800 that will be on the highways for some time to come. Why would you make your signature product not be able to collaborate with the component that is essential, that so many people have invested in your company,
Right.
a product that you put out there that a lot of people wanted, needed, and got, and your signature product, your latest, most technologically advanced product, won't even have a conversation with it. And I just think that's horrible. And for the money that we pour into Cena and all of our devices, I'm a techie guy. I like my gadgets, just like I'm sure all of us do. And I'll pay for those items, but I need it to perform in the manner in which it's supposed to. And that's just horrible.
Gold Wing Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who is fearless. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause in a world of reckless automobiles. These are my motovlogs.
So I got that on. You can see it up on there. It's working for now.
He said for now.
He got on the Center 30K. Wow.
Hey, Chris, you heard him. He said it's working for right now.
It's working for now, huh?
Yeah, but if you're using it by yourself, it's going to work fine.
Yep.
It'll work just as well as a 20S.
Yeah.
It has that ultimate seat, man.
It's nice. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It got a little wash today. Got a little bit of rain on. It's supposed to be raining in Hattiesburg, so I'll make it a little bit more rain. We'll see what happens. But
I think I'm going to give me one, man.
It takes I warn you now. I warn you. It takes a little bit of break-in period. I think I've got maybe 2,200 miles on this one or something, and it still feels like it can go a little bit. It's not as comfortable as a Russell Daylong seat, but there's so many other advantages to it, man, and it looks way better. I mean, the Russell looks like a tractor seat, but this one, it looks like an actual seat. It looks nice. I love it.
Awesome.
Hey, Dustin, did you get any special piping stitched in or anything like that? No,
I just went with the logo, the seat with the logo on it, and getting other colors and some piping and maybe some special stuff done. But with the coronavirus going on, their factory was closed, so you would have had to wait, and that just didn't fit in with my plans to wait. Not to mention that coronavirus money would have went somewhere else probably. So I said, I'll take what you got. I just went with what they had in stock.
I hear you, man. That's
but
nice.
I did get the king seat to give me more room.
That's what I want.
They said for taller people or heavier set people that it's better. I'm a little bit of both. More taller than heavier set, but I'm about 240, like right at 240 pounds. But I'm 6'4", and my inseam's a 36-inch inseam, so I got teaspoon to get up on here and sit down in the back. His legs have barely reached the pedals, but when I sit down, mine are completely stretched out all the way.
Oh, yeah.
I hear you. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you too, Mark and Wes and Big Ben.
Hey.
Big Ben in the house. Good to see you.
What's up, D-Lo? How you doing, buddy?
Thank you, sir.
Oh, well, man. Good to see you guys. Really.
Hey, what's the temperature like out there in LV?
So right now, yeah, as you can see, I might be. It's 91 degrees, but man, I tell you, it's getting hotter than that, you guys.
It's hotter over here than it is over in LV right now.
Yeah, you got more humidity, Mark, than I do.
Not much, man. It's been a dry heat, but it's been hot. We had 107 a couple of days ago.
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. At least you can get around some water. I'm far from it.
How far are you from your destination, Dustin?
About an hour.
Okay, so you got a minute.
Oh yeah, I got time. It takes about an hour and 45 minutes to get down there, and I left the house at like 6:45, so I've only been on the road about 15 minutes.
Okay.
How's my audio? Is it all right?
Man, you coming in loud and clear.
Nice and clear.
Yeah, you sound good,
Okay,
man.
so,
Wes, you had them
interesting.
wheels turning a while ago. What was you
Hmm?
thinking? I said you look like you had them wheels turning a while ago. What was you
Oh, yeah.
thinking?
Hey, I'm still a 30K user, so I haven't switched to the Cardo yet.
Uh-huh.
And only reason I haven't switched, all my buddies that ride with me with Gold Wings, they got CBs. So my CB works well with my free ride, my 30K. And I can't really justify, riding with my guys. I won't be able to communicate other than with, going with a helmet, wired mic. So that's why I'm still hanging in there with the 30K. Now, if Cardo had the CB ability, hook up like the FreeWire, I would be in on a Cardo right now. But right now, my 30K works fine.
I got the Cardo. I'm just waiting. It's being in the process of delivery, so I'll be having it soon. And it may do the same thing this one's doing, but only better. We'll see.
I mean, Chris
Hey, Carlos in the house.
Carlos.
What's up, D-Lo, Mark, Wes,
Hey,
What
man.
up?
What's up, brother?
Dustin,
What's
JC,
going on?
Chris Caliente.
What's going on, man? I see you got that microphone sounding a little bit better. What you do?
Yeah.
Blue Yeti.
Oh!
Okay. Got that blue Yeti, yeah.
Welcome to the family. Welcome.
All right.
Man, look at that.
Yeah, it sound pretty balanced. It sound real balanced. It's not as loud. Let me see. Go ahead and get
Once
this
again, Chris, bro, we love you, man. Thank you for doing this and getting this going, man. Appreciate
Thank
you,
you
bro.
guys, man.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys. You guys make me look good.
Man, Chris, when I look at you, I'm just looking in the mirror, bro. That's all.
Iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know who we're missing? We're missing Robert. That's who we were supposed to.
JC on the line. JC, you on the move, brother? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm not home from work yet, man. I'm just still driving to the house. Yeah, but I'm in the group though. My phone rang.
Good to see
I
you.
went ahead and answered. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
So far, so
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Outstanding. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. It's Friday,
I don't-
man. It's Friday.
Gentlemen, I don't mean to beat a dead horse too much or too bad, but I got to ask my big brother Ben. Ben, you down at Ground Zero, man. How are you? How are you?
Yeah, that's what
man?
we should be asking. How is Ben doing?
That's what I want to know. How big Ben doing?
Okay. Chris, that picture I sent you, I don't know if you can put that up.
Oh yeah. It's gonna take a minute, but I can get it.
Go ahead and take a minute and I'll stretch it out a little bit.
Okay.
I give you this visualization. Have you ever seen The Invisible Man, the black and white version, where
Okay.
the guy takes
Yeah.
the
unwrap
cloth
yourself.
and wraps himself all the way, and then he has the welding glasses, and then he has a fedora hat on.
Yeah.
Imagine that. That's me if I have to go out.
Man.
I don't go out unless it's absolutely necessary. I've only been out the house, and I'm glad everybody's sitting down, since we went in lockdown mode on New York State of emergency started on March 7th at 12 noon. I only been out the house 4 times, including day before yesterday, since March 7th.
Wow.
I am enjoying myself in the house.
Chris, did you find it?
Yeah, but it's gonna take me a minute to get it up on the screen.
I work from home. I'm loving it even more from working from home.
Yeah, that's Big Ben right there, you guys.
And
that should be his screen photo.
Yeah.
And the all I know is I from my point of view, most people population of New York are doing their level best to try to get the curve down. There are still some knuckleheads that are out there who are just walking around without a mask, without any gloves. And as of 2 weeks ago, it's the law. You could get cited for not, if you're out in public without wearing a mask. And I just don't understand why some individuals will walk, jog, walk right beside each other instead of being at least 6 feet or more away. I just don't understand it. But according to the numbers, it's going down as far as the hospital rate. Those are being hospitalized for COVID-19. But at the same time, Governor Cuomo is being extremely cautious about the entire state, how we conduct ourselves. And, you know, I think he's a cool guy because he's not letting the pressure bother him at all.
I think Cuomo's awesome. To me, he's great. He really is.
He's not letting anyone rattle his cage.
Right.
In fact, yesterday he usually does a 45-minute brief. He did a half an hour brief and says, look, I'm getting on my Harley. I got to stretch it out a little bit and I'll see y'all tomorrow. And when he came back on, he looked refreshed and he just said, look, New York State is on an 18-month plan to reopen. And it has to be done in, you know, turning the valve just a little bit, monitoring the gauge to see how that needle goes. If it starts going back up, close the valve up. And he said, we're not going to reopen until we have a proven vaccine. And he said, that's 18 months away. And then when he said all of this a couple of weeks ago, he's actually saying some things that if you're reading between the lines, he knows more than what he's revealing, in a sense, if that makes sense. I just sent Chris a couple of hours ago. I don't know if you had time to see it, Chris, where this llama, this 4-year-old llama, happens to have the antibodies that SCARS as well as Mars cannot penetrate, and they're now using the antibodies of this particular llama to see if it can do the same thing with COVID-19. The earliest evidence is suggesting that it is combating COVID-19. We're not going to know for a little while longer, but it seems like they may have stumbled onto something, and now there's a super race across the world trying to effectively come up with a vaccine. Time will tell, but in the meantime, I think it's wise for people to use something that is, I think, is an oxymoron with a lot of people, which is common and sense, because common sense doesn't seem to go together with some people. In order to beat this invisible invader. That's my spiel on it. Yeah. There he goes. That's how I dress. If I'm going to be outside, that's how I'm dressed.
That's what's
I'm not
up.
taking any chances.
I ain't mad at you.
So that's how I dress. That's how, as I said it on the text, that's how I roll.
Don't go any banks like that.
Oh, no.
Y'all see that one? Y'all see that one?
Banks or the post office.
Speaking of that, Brother Cowboy, I've been enjoying your project, man. You're doing a good job. It's amazing, man.
Thank you, man. I'm learning as I go.
Yeah, God is giving you some skills, man. It is, man. It's nice, bro. It really is.
Thank you. What's happening, Robert?
What's going on, gentlemen? Y'all all right?
Good to see you, brother.
Oh, he's on. He's
Mark.
on. Look at it.
Oh, Wes in the house.
What's up? What's up?
Likewise. I
Hey,
can't
I
let
like
Wes
you
and
and
D-Lo.
Chris with these backgrounds. I like that stuff.
When D-Lo started it, Brother Cowboy, D-Lo started this.
Did he start it?
He started it, and we not going to be outdone.
I'm going to have to come up with something.
We're not going to
come up with something.
Look, look, I was taught by Chris. Chris taught me. You know, he was spoon feeding me here and there. So I just threw something out there.
What y'all going to say if I get a horse behind me?
That's what we going to say.
Hey, Mark, how you doing, Mark?
I'm good. How about you?
Mark,
I'm good. Ben?
Brother DeCarlos, JC.
DeCarlos down there, yeah.
How you doing, Brother Cowboy?
Yo, we got the crew in the house.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Who's that, Jimmy? Jimmy?
What's
happening, Jimmy?
JC.
What's going on, man?
JC just getting settled in, it look like.
Yeah,
Good to see everybody, man.
Get set up here.
Robert, you're gonna run your battery down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a picture. Man, that looked good. He's got
Hey, you guys say
green screen
you
also.
guys say a special prayer for me because tomorrow Sister Cowgirl is gonna try her first maiden ride out of town.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she's gonna get on the bike and hit the highway with me, man.
That's a blessing.
Without a doubt, man. Where y'all headed, Brother Cowboy?
We can go to East Texas, man.
Today we got a pretty good show for you. We're gonna be doing a live video conference right here. We're gonna be talking about the Cena 30K that I've just sold. We're gonna be talking about the new Cena 50 series that just released. I know a lot of you have been wanting to talk about this 50K, so we're gonna be talking about the 50K, giving you guys a rundown on it. And we also will be talking about the Ultimate Seats. The Ultimate Seats, that's been a hot topic here lately in the Caliente Garage, is custom seats for your bike. We're gonna be talking about the COVID-19 outbreak as well. And we're gonna be taking some live phone calls out here in the Caliente Garage. So what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
What's happening?
All right.
Good, all good.
Right.
Good evening.
All right. We got Mark Motorman from California. What's up, Mark?
How you doing? Everything's good out here. A little hot, but good.
All right. We got West out in DC.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And we also got D-Lo out there in Las Vegas.
What's happening, fellas? Currently 91 degrees in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
91 degrees.
See, Chris, go ahead and cut him off now. I'm sorry. Just cut him off now. He's already started. We're going to be 32 degrees in the morning. He's talking about 91 degrees.
Right.
Told you, my man.
All righty. And we also got Carlos out there in Kansas City, Missouri. What's up, Carlos?
Honor and a pleasure as always.
And we got JC out there in Ball Knob. What's going on, JC?
Hey, what's going on there, Chris? Everybody else, how y'all doing?
We got
All right.
Big Ben. Fab
Good
One
evening
out
to
there
all.
in Manhattan,
All righty.
New York. What's up, Ben?
All right.
And we also got Composure out there in Tennessee. What's up, Composure?
We blessed, doing well.
Oh,
Chris. Good
yeah.
evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Told
Good
you in the
evening.
house.
And we
Yes,
got
sir.
Dustin out there on the Gold Wing. What's going on, Dustin? Riding live on the Gold Wing. What's going on, Dustin?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Just rolling, doing what I do, getting the miles in every day.
All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
all right. And we got
That's
JC.
good.
Yes, JC.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. And last but not least, we got the one, the only, all the way from Funky Town, a man that needs no introduction, the
Mhm.
Waco Kid.
Brother Cowboy.
Brother Cowboy, man. What's going on, Brother Cowboy?
We were waiting on it.
We good to see y'all. Good to see everybody.
What's going on, Brother Cowboy?
Oh, man, it's always good to be around these Caliente riders.
All right. We're going to have a good show for you guys, man. Got the Caliente panel on tonight. out here live in the Caliente garage. Everybody sounding good? Everybody can hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
5x5.
Righty. My Facebook Live still hot,
Yeah.
still up and running.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All righty, good deal, good deal. You know, guys, I just want to put it out there for the people that's watching this video. I have some good news, some very good news. I have sold all of my centers. I am no longer a center owner. I have no center.
You're gonna miss them, Chris.
Huh?
You're gonna miss them. When you get to missing that center, just holler at me. I still got one left. I'll sell you mine. I'll make you a good deal on it.
I am no longer the owner of a center. I've sold all of my center products, put them up on my Facebook group, and I've actually got rid of all of my centers, got rid of the headsets, got rid of the 30Ks. I got rid of the 20S. I am center free. So I'm feeling good about that. So let's give myself a round of applause and get rid of all of my centers.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But my question to you guys is, are you guys going to follow suit? Are you going to keep your centers? Are you going to still rock them? Are you going to still roll with them? What's your plans? And I'm gonna divert that question. I want to divert that question to Mark. Mark is ready to go. I can tell he's ready. So Mark, what you gonna do with your current centers now that the 50 series is out?
I got a few other Facebook pages that I follow with Goldwing riders, and I was telling them about my fiasco with the 30Ks and how we have 14 of them that we don't even use. And I got people asking if we're willing to sell them. And it's funny because Sunday evening, I'm not going to mention any names, but Sunday evening I got an email from a center representative asking me if I've updated the firmware on my 30K, and it's supposed to be night and day difference after the firmware update. And so I replied to his email, well, no, I haven't, but I will. And what kind of differences are we looking at?
Right.
And then I hear crickets, and I haven't heard any response back.
Mm.
And so I had also, on another page I was following, there was a gentleman and his wife who were looking at buying the 50S. And, you know, they were asking, what are your thoughts on it? And I said, well, it's too soon to tell. You know, not a whole lot of people have them yet. And I can tell you this, they are not, and I repeat, the 50S or the 50R is not compatible with the Sena FreeWire. It even says it in Sena's, brochure. It's not compatible.
Wow.
So you cannot use the new Sena with the FreeWire?
Nope.
Okay, now I've been hearing, I don't mean to cut you off, Mark, but I've been hearing that Sena is gonna do some type of update.
Oh yeah.
That's supposed to allow you to, I guess, have the same functions in the 50 series as the 30K. Is that correct, DeCarlos?
The update is out, and that's what the lady told me via chat that I had with her, that it was, you know, your 30K was going to act like the 50 series. So I updated mine, but I haven't tested it out. So
I'm going to be testing mine out on Monday.
Yeah, I can only believe what she told me, but that was the word she used, that it was the 30K was going to be like the 50 series. So in essence, I guess if you got a 30K, there's really no need to get a 50 series unless you want the speaker upgrades.
But I think again, I think what'll happen is, and I misspoke. I'm thinking that the 50S will be compatible with the FreeWire to a certain extent, in that if you're using a 50S and you're riding around by yourself and you're not using the mesh, it will work fine. with the FreeWire.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a lot of the same, because there was one guy who came back. He says, okay, so my wife and I and another couple that rides with us, we all bought 50Ss, and we took them out, we put them to their paces, and we were in a mesh conversation, and everything worked fine for the first 6 hours. And then after that, it went haywire. We lose mesh, no connectivity. We can't reestablish a mesh connection. We have to pull over and, clear everything out. And so those are the exact same problems that plagued the 30K. Exact same problems. And so I think like we discussed last time, I think the 50K is a pig with lipstick. And and as such, I'm not willing to spend my money on a device like that, especially when I don't get a reply from Sena after they initiate a conversation about what my thoughts are.
Well, what's the difference between the 50 and the 30?
The 50 it has Bluetooth 5.0 instead of Bluetooth 4.0. And the mesh is a higher version. I think the mesh is a 2.0 version of mesh. And so I'm thinking that it's probably the competition for the Cardo PackTalk Bold. And but again, they're falling short. I mean, if you're already hearing problems like that plaguing it, and you should be able to fix those things on the fly, if not by pulling over real quick and just, turning off the units and starting all over again. But even with that, you shouldn't have to do that, because from what Chris says, and anybody who's using the Cardos right now, you guys simply don't experience those issues.
Well, they said, excuse me, Mark. They said you get more riders to connect to, and you can break them off in a whole bunch of different groups. Yeah, different channels. Yeah,
nine channels.
And the range is supposed to be longer, and you get a better speaker system. So,
well, here's my thought on range with any Bluetooth headset. Whatever the manufacturer tells you, take about 0.3 of a mile off of that, because it's just not true. And so for them to say that, the Sena 50S has 1.2 miles of increased or improved range, that simply isn't the case. I don't even have to try it to know, because every Sena that I've had that has said it has a certain range, the distance has been wrong. It's just not, it's been inaccurate.
Wow.
So it's pretty much line of sight.
Pretty much line of sight. Well, I mean, again, if you picture a twisty and you have a group of 10 or 15 mesh riders, theoretically, that mesh signal is supposed to bounce off of the other bikes. So it really is there's never should be a line of sight issue with mesh if you're in a large group of people, because it's just bouncing, it's piggybacking to the next bike behind you. And so even though one guy might be around the corner, around the side of a hill, if there's 3 or 4 guys behind him, that mesh signal is supposed to be leapfrogging from the back of the pack to the front of the pack. And it isn't so. It just doesn't work. Now, maybe with Cardos, they do that because it's an intuitive mesh system that both manufacturers are supposed to use. And so you guys with the Cardos, I understand why you're doing it. You don't care about hearing the music through your outside speakers, and so that's perfect world for you. For me, I don't like that. I want to hear it all in my helmet, unless it's a really good song that I think I want the world around me to hear, and I'll switch over and I'll play it loud, as long as my OEM, as loud as my OEM speakers allow me. But But the 20S for me, it just seems the 20S, it's doing everything it needs to do for me. So
I know that that video that Chris did, because I'm straight up Cardo, got rid of my center. That video that Chris did, and thank you, by the way, Chris, where he demonstrated the connectivity of Cardo with the group he was riding with, and he purposely either had someone staggered behind or he went further out from the group. And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, and then the connectivity showed how far he could get away, and then how close when they got back together, how it reconnect. And
Right.
Brother Cowboy, was you with Chris when you guys did that, or was it
No,
somebody-
that wasn't me on that one.
No, Chris, who was that with you on that?
That might have been.
I think it was Jason. Jason
Yeah.
was there.
Could have been
Jason.
Yeah.
He's done it a couple of times. He's done it a couple of times where you all were talking about line of sight. Chris has been out of sight. Either Chris has been out of sight or Jason's been out of sight. And the Cardo was still clear as day.
Yeah.
Even for a few moments after the line of sight had been lost. Which that's what Mesh was supposed to give us. That was the platform, because if you remember the daisy chain nature of everything prior to Mesh, and you lose that line of sight, you knew you were gonna lose connectivity. Mesh was supposed to give us that ability to weave in and out of that collective platform, and it just never did. My 30K, and I've updated my 30K to the most recent firmware, and I had issues connecting with my wife just on intercom. She was sitting right behind me on the bike.
Wow.
Yeah, what I found funny is when I downloaded when I updated the firmware on my 30K a couple of days ago, there was a dramatic jump in the number, in the the numerical value assigned to the firmware update.
Right, it was. Yeah. It went to 3.
It was like
it went to 3.
Yeah, it was like 2.0.1, and then all of a sudden it went to 3.0.2 or something. It's like, man, and usually it's just a really insignificant number.
Incremental, right?
Yeah, and so I'm curious. Like I said, my brother-in-law and I are going to try them out on Monday. Just him and I riding down the roadway, and then we're going to check to see if it'll work with our free wires. I'm not holding out any hope that it will, but I'm curious to see how that mesh will work instead of the Bluetooth connection. If it's going to still be unstable. And so I think a lot of people, here's my opinion. I think if the 50S falls flat on its face like the 30K, there's a reason why Sena is offering $150 rebate for the 30K to get someone out of a 30K and into a 50S or a 50R. There's a reason for that. You just,
that's absolutely correct.
And it's like, and the reason is because of 30K, for what it's supposed to do, it doesn't do it. It works for some people. Like Wes, he uses it fine because he's communicating with all kinds of people on the CB, but he's the only one. He's not meshing to anybody. So his 30K is going to work perfectly because he's Bluetoothing to his phone. He's Bluetoothing to his free wire, if he has a free wire going on in there. And so as long as that 30K is not connected to another 30K, then his unit works fine. And so there's really nothing for him to compare it to how it's supposed to behave.
Right. Only thing I will add, Mark, is I do connect with one other rider, well, my wife and another couple. So, and both of us are on the free wires. And it works fairly decent. So it's about 4 of us connected.
So when you have that connection going, are you in a Bluetooth or are you in a mesh?
We're in a Bluetooth.
Okay. So that sounds better than what I got, because we would try a connection with a Bluetooth and then trying to use our free wires, and we couldn't even get that to work.
Is that
so
right?
You're telling me that you can connect with some other 30Ks in a Bluetooth environment and still use your CB through your free wire.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I will add to that, Mark, on your dash, if you, I think you got to change one of the volumes on your dash. because I know my buddy, he wasn't able to get through at first, but he changed one of the volumes or something on your dash display. Whether it's putting it in silence mode on your bike and using the free wire, I think he had an issue with that. And once he did that, we were good to go.
I didn't know there was even an input capability on a Goldwing.
So what I'm saying is, like, your your infotainment system, if you put that in a like in your 5-pin DINC cable, if you change that setting, we had some success with that, because I think he had it set up where it was coming through the speakers, and once he changed it to like your wireless mic, it stopped.
Auxiliary.
Yep.
Okay,
Auxiliary.
I know what you're talking about now.
Auxiliary. Yeah. He went
Okay,
through that.
I know what you're talking about.
So
Okay,
you
you know
might
what? I'm
wanna-
going to try that on Monday.
Yeah, you might want to try that as well, because I know it was some issues at first, and once we did that, we were fine.
So the setting that you have on yours is set to what when you're using your free wire?
When I have mine set to the speaker system, so everything comes through the speaker.
Okay.
It don't come through my infotainment cord. It comes through the speaker. So I got.
Okay, so you're listening to what through the ambient speakers, through the outside speakers?
For the CB player, right? For the CB radio.
Okay, so when you're listening to the CB radio, you're not hearing it in your headset, in your
I'm hearing
ears.
it through my speakers.
Okay, I get that, because you can change that setting on the CD.
Right. So once I change that setting, I can hear him talking through my headset, but all the CB radio traffic I hear through the bike. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
What's that honking
What is
horn?
that?
I don't know.
Hey,
Is that the
you guys
1 minute
still-
timer? to shut us
That's
up?
Dustin. That's Dustin.
That's Dustin. Can you guys still see my feed?
I can.
It's back up. It's back up now, Chris.
It's in the group.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
I just want to go on record here with anybody who's listening.
Okay.
There's only really one reason why I stay with the 20S and the free wire,
Okay.
and that's it. I mean, and the only reason I stay with it is because it works.
Right.
And it does everything it said it was going to do, and it allows me access to all of the infotainment system stuff through my bike. That's the only reason. I'm not one to listen to stuff through my speakers, my outside speakers. So that's the only reason why. If I didn't care, I would probably have switched to the Cardo already, because of just the positive reviews that I'm hearing from everybody that uses it. I have heard no negative reviews about the Cardo Pack Talk Bold. And all I hear about is the issues with the 20S. But those are all the 30K users now, and soon to be the 50S, because those problems are already starting to manifest now.
Right.
I think Sena rushed. They rushed this product out. I guarantee you, it was still in beta form, but all the hype and all the publicity that Cardo has been getting over the past few months, I think they felt rushed to come out and release it. So I guarantee you, they're gonna have a lot of problems with that new 50.
So then next we're gonna have a Yama with lipstick on it.
Right.
But
like you said,
Motormark,
I didn't get maybe but one, maybe two updates on that 30K since I had it. And that's why you say that number jumped up significantly.
It did.
Because there just was no updates on it. You call them and say, hey, I got this problem. Is an update come out? They would never answer your emails about an update on the 30K. So all of a sudden now they're releasing.
if I might add something for Motormark here, for the vast majority of the time, the 20S worked pretty good. The only time you had a problem is if you got more than 3 people in a group.
I agree.
Because when I rode with Chris, a lot of times it would just be me and Chris. And we didn't have a problem with the 20S. So we would be on the CB radio with 20S. But when you got more than 3 people, it started breaking up.
Very unstable.
So that's why everybody wanted to switch over to Cardo. You could carry so many more people in the group. So if your 20S is working for you, right on.
Yeah,
You know?
it does. And, you know, I'm hoping it's like, you know, my wife drives a Ford Flex, and we just love the car. We've loved them so much. We've bought 3 of them, and I always said, I'm just going to keep on buying this car over and over again because I just love it so much. And but now they don't make it anymore, and so now, you know, I have to find something else. And you know, same things. Yeah, but not a brand new one. I was hoping to get a 2020. They said 2021 was going to be the last year they made them, and I said, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and I'll just keep on buying them until I can get the last one, and then the last one I'll just buy it out because I lease them. I only keep them for 2 years, and,
right.
And I'll just buy it out and I'll keep it forever. And you know, same thing with the 20S. I hope they don't stop making it, because if they stop making the 20S, that is the only headset aside from the 10R and the 10S and all those other 4.0 versions of Sena headsets. The 20S is the one that's designed specifically for the FreeWire. The other ones work, but they were made for each other. And so they're the perfect married couple when it comes to what they're trying to achieve. And when they stop making that, if they do, then, you know, there's going to be a lot of people, SOL, that are going to have, you know, FreeWires that are useless. And
well, we're just gonna have to send them down to Memphis to the Caliente Garage to have their Gold Wings rewired by the Guru. That's all. No problem.
Mark, I think they already stopped making the 20S. They went to the 20 Evo.
Right. Yeah. What was the Evo?
Yeah, and they're the same. They're the same. The 20S and the 20S Evo are the same headset. The only thing they did is on the 20S Evo, they put the little shark fin on there so that you wouldn't have to keep lifting the antenna up and down. And the antenna really only works on a 20S or a 20S Evo during a Bluetooth conversation, and that extends your range a little bit. And there's a pretty good video out on it on YouTube where the guy just rides down the street with the antenna down on the old 20S, and you can see where, you know, he's probably getting maybe 0.6 of a mile, 0.7 of a mile before the signal goes out. But then when he throws the antenna up, then he gets a little bit more distance.
Okay.
So that's only it's all cosmetic, but they behave the same.
Okay. Somebody text me saying that they can't hear us. We are live in the Caliente Garage. We got several people joining us. I see Jeff Rice is joining us. Jesse Durden is joining us as well. We got James Ridley is joining us as well. John Gray is joining in as well. Can you guys hear me on Facebook on this live feed? Can you guys hear me, or there is no audio? Can any of you hear me? D-Lo, can y'all guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I hear you. Yeah.
Through the live feed as well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I don't know why somebody's saying that they can't hear me through the live feed.
Hey, Prez.
Yes, sir.
I got a question for Big Ben real quick. And
Yes,
just
sir.
to educate me, I'm pretty much guessing here. All of us seem to be able to ride in rural areas. You know, here in Nevada, I got the desert, you know, and pretty much nothing's blocking as far as buildings go when I get downtown. Big Ben, educate me, brother. You've been in New York. What's the ride and the connectivity with the headsets for you in the city? And correct me if I'm wrong, is what I'm trying to think is, you know, not to say that you live directly in the city, but you have all that dynamics of communication issues or blockage because of the buildings and so forth and so on.
I am in the city actually, on the Upper West Side.
Uh-huh.
I don't ride in the city. When I'm riding on the motorcycle, I'm heading north, away from the city, up in the country.
And as far as your connectivity is, you know, with the headset?
No issues. No issues. Now, once I get into the city limits, it is more line of sight.
And which device are you using, Ben?
20.
20. Okay.
I haven't upgraded yet. And I haven't had any problems. Again, so long as I'm on the open road, no issues. Get into the city.
Yeah.
It's a line of sight type of situation.
I got you.
Yeah, but that's because of all of the concrete and all the obstruction and all the metal and stuff like that.
Yes.
And so and that's why I posed that question, because I know connectivity has all kind of issues that pop up here and there. And from what I understand, Chris has tested this thing all kind of ways. And that's why I posed that question to Ben, Chris.
That's a good question. It's a good question.
Yeah. When I had my 20S, I didn't have no issues it snapped and crackled and popped, don't get me wrong, but you can connect it fairly easy long as you kept the group under 4 riders. Once you went to greater than 4 riders, then that Bluetooth connection becomes unstable. And then you started to get the snap, the crackle, and the pop. And so for the life of me, I just couldn't figure that out. And Cena had supposed to done some updates to fix that problem, but it pretty much never worked. Then they came out with the 30K. And we all know that was a failure. And now they're out with the 50 series. So if you guys notice, or is it me, does the 30K and the 50 series look identical?
Yep.
Does the 30K?
Just a little lipstick.
Somebody's laughing, but it looks identical.
Just a little lipstick.
To me, it looks like they put some fresh paint on it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the images now, and the only thing that I see is different is the jog dial, and
that's it.
And the paint on the front. Now, that's not to say that the processors inside is not different, or the board inside is not different, or the things inside are different, but they look identical. They look identical. And as a matter of fact, I've been on YouTube here lately, and I've been trying to find some videos on this 50K, and for some reason or another, and maybe you guys may know the answer to this question, I'm not really seeing any videos on this 50 series. I'm wondering why are we not seeing any 50K Cena 50K videos?
Has Revzilla been putting them out? I know they did a couple, but I understand what you're saying, Chris. I totally do.
I'm saying since the release. I get the 30K and the 50S. To me, I get tongue twisted just trying to distinguish the two, and they're both the same to me, in my opinion. But
I got an answer for that.
So the Cena 50 series. So who has an answer for why you don't?
I do. I do. I'm the biggest proponent and the biggest opponent of Sena's, but I'm thinking that everybody who had an opportunity to buy a 50S, they were so frustrated with their 30K. They want everybody else to go buy the 50S first, and be the crash test dummy, and they just don't want to part with the amount of money Sena's asking for a headset, and so I think it's just too new. Not enough people have bought them.
Okay.
Well, and that's why there's just nothing out yet, because there's, I think it's only been less than a month that they've rolled out, right?
Yes, it's just been a few days. Now, let me ask, I don't know if, are you still with us, Composure?
Composure trying to get his grub out. Composure eating. Culture. Eating.
Okay, well, I can defer to somebody else. Let me go to Theo.
Oh, wait a minute. No, Chris, you don't have to defer to nobody else, but I know what you're trying to do. Yep, listen to me, gentlemen. Chris, when we talk about these issues with Sena and how they looking for him, Chris becomes French. He wants to start talking about we. They looking for us and this and that. See, man. Yes, sir. Mr. Caliente, how may I help you, sir? Yes, sir.
So the question that I have, the question that I have for you, Composure, is, I'd raise a question, to this panel. We're not seeing any Cena 50 series videos out there. I'm not seeing any. I'm just wondering, why are we not seeing these serious videos out there?
Because Chris, you ruined their soft open. You ruined their grand open. You came out. I mean, you ruined it, sir, and they are looking for you. They called me today, and I told them you left the country to a country with no extradition. You took the bike with you. They won't be able to find you.
In an undisclosed location.
In an undisclosed location.
Well,
but seriously, gentlemen, the fact that Motor Mark is already talking about what this particular device, the newest device that Cena has, won't do. I mean, that was the first part of his conversation, is what it won't do. And Chris and I have talked about this on many occasions. As many of you know, I've got a 2019 Gold Wing, so I've got Bluetooth capability. But that Cena FreeWire is absolutely essential to some people and their riding style.
yeah.
And you've got thousands upon thousands of that first and second generation GL 1800 that will be on the highways for some time to come. Why would you make your signature product not be able to collaborate with the component that is essential, that so many people have invested in your company, a product that you put out there that a lot of people wanted, needed, and got, and your signature product, your latest, most technologically advanced product, won't even have a conversation with it. And I just think that's horrible. And for the money that we pour into Cena and all of our devices, I'm a techie guy. I like my gadgets just like I'm sure all of us do. And I'll pay for those items, but I need it to perform in the manner in which it's supposed to. And that's just horrible.
Good point, Composure.
Well said, Composure. Well said, my brother.
Yeah, that's why they coming after you next too.
See, Carlos, we were friends. Carlos, I was baited into that. Y'all saw me. You baited me. And he Composure, Mr. Composure.
That down real nice.
Did y'all see that? Man, y'all got to stand with me. I'm
smooth segue.
Undisclosed location.
Smooth segue.